Welcome to the Vegas Insider channel here on YouTube. Time for Week 11 contest picks in the NFL. Kevin Rogers and Holden Kushner with you. We've won 3 straight consensus picks. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. But what we do on this video, we make 5 selections a week in the NFL. I have 2, Holden has 2, and then we come together for a consensus for the final one. So before we get to all of that, let's just get to pick number 1 with Holden Kushner.
Well, before we get to pick number 1, my daughter asked me what I do. She's 5. And I showed her one of our videos, and the football goes boom. And she thought that was really cool. She also likes your hair. She's like, that guy has good hair. So congratulations, my 5-year-old, very impressed with you. I'm going to be very impressed with the Packers this week. They are +2 on the road, taking on the Colts. Rodgers back. He's not running like he did, and probably not as fast, but he also don't want to get hurt. He's 26-3 touchdown interception ratio. I think Adams is going to play this week despite the ankle. They get a huge boost to their passing game with Lazard coming back. And I think both Jair Alexander and Kevin King are going to play. If you'll remember, both missed. Both cornerbacks were out, the top 2 corners last week, and that did not do good. Great win last week for the Colts on Thursday night. Special teams helped them with that big block punt. But Hines and Pittman are coming on too. But I just think that this Packers offense is the unstoppable force, and the unmovable object is the Colts. But I think that the Packers offense will be able to move the ball. I know Phil Rivers getting rid of the ball quickly, but I just lean toward this Packers offense. I think they're a better team top to bottom. Give me the Packers +2.
So Holden's on Green Bay for his first selection. I'm going to go with another interconference game as my first selection. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles on the road at Cleveland to take on the Browns. Now, this is an Eagles team in first place of the NFC East, but granted, we know how bad the NFC East is. Philadelphia looking for just their second road win of the season, and they haven't had much luck on the highway. But if you look back at it, they were a favorite at Washington and lost, a favorite against the Giants and lost. Only time they were a road dog in one of those losses came at Pittsburgh, who's undefeated, and they won at San Francisco. So as a road dog, not terrible. Now looking at Cleveland, their offense has not been good recently as they've scored less than 10 points in 3 of their past 4 games. They should have scored more against Houston on the Nick Chubb stepping out of bounds, but that didn't matter as the Browns scored 10 against the Texans. Cleveland 6-3 could be a little misleading. I'm going to take the points with the Eagles here on the road as my first selection. And Holden, now your second pick.
You're playing with fire, man. You're back in Carson Wentz there. I like it. You're a maverick this week. I'm going to go Chiefs -7, taking on the Raiders. Andy Reid, 18-3 off the bye. That's one thing. A lot of narratives for me. I rarely ever bet narratives here, but I just think the Chiefs, didn't need the motivation. The Raiders are driving around, bus around after beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. The Chiefs are really good on the road. Patrick Mahomes. I also think, and even a couple of Chiefs players alluded to this, that they just didn't match the energy of the Raiders. I can't imagine that doesn't happen this week. Prime time, Patrick Mahomes just comes out and shoves. I actually like the Chiefs team total over 33.5. I am contemplating betting that right now. I just think the Chiefs come out. They're better offensively, defensively, special teams. I think they come out. Mahomes gets a quick passing game going, big explosive plays offensively. Derek Carr struggles against the Chiefs defense that puts some pressure on him. And I'll take Kansas City -7, K-Raj.
Yeah, and the Raiders, a couple of losses already at home as a home dog to the Bills and to the Buccaneers. Remember, Tampa Bay really blasted them, so we'll see if Kansas City does the same on Sunday night. For my second selection, it's not a great game, but it's on the board, so we got to take it. I'm going to back Washington against Cincinnati as the football team, a short favorite against the Bengals. Both these teams with 2 wins apiece, but the Bengals are just god-awful on the road. Last 18 games away from Cincinnati, they've not won once. They have a tie against the Eagles, but past that, they have not won a game. They've had a lot of covers, but more of a heavy dog. And Washington coming off a pair of 3-point losses to the Giants and the Lions. I think they found their quarterback. I mean, it was their old quarterback, and Alex Smith, as he's played well the last few weeks. They dug themselves a big hole at Detroit last week before tying the game late, and then they lost in that long field goal. But I think Washington here can come back and beat a Cincinnati team who, obviously Joe Burrow's had a very good season, but I'm just not going to trust the Bengals as this short of a dog on the road where they've been terrible. So I'm going to back Washington as my second selection. And now it's time for our consensus pick And we've won 3 straight on this. So
Wow.
we had the Rams last week against Seattle. That was easy. Now let's try to do it again. And this time, Holden, we're going to go with an underdog. So as you would like to say, a little tricky, but we're going to go with an underdog this week in the NFC South.
Do I say that? Do I say a little tricky?
You may have one time. That's why. That's what I'm doing. One time, maybe you said.
Well, listen, this is almost a conviction play for me. I don't like the 5 number. That's not great, but Atlanta's 3-1 since their 0-5 start. And remember, they had some big time collapses at the end. That's fine if Atlanta collapses to the Saints this week, as long as they lose by 4 or less. We're absolutely fine. Here, I'm big in the daily fantasy community, DFS, and everybody's all over Jameis Winston this week. And it's not because, he's a great quarterback. It's just because he chucks the ball down the field a whole bunch. But in real life, not fantasy, in real life, this guy's going to turn the ball over. I think it's going to give Atlanta a few opportunities to score here. There is no Marshawn Lattimore. Cam Jordan's injured. Ridley could be coming back. Calvin Ridley could be coming back for Atlanta. Defensively, they've taken leaps and bounds here over the last month. I think they just keep it close in a divisional game. If Breeze starts this game, maybe I'm leaning a little differently, but I think there will be turnovers from Jameis, and that's going to keep Atlanta in this game.
Atlanta's 7-1 against the spread, their last 8 on the road, dating back to last season. One of those wins came at New Orleans. They were a huge dog, and they were off the bye last year. So I guess the Falcons, too, Holden, just on your point, they blew the Dallas game. They blew the Chicago game. I mean, they've had a couple major meltdowns. And look, they lost at Green Bay, who's one of the elite teams in the NFL. But, a couple wins go their way. This is a team that's right in the wild card mix. Maybe Dan Quinn was the problem. And since he's been gone, they played better. And when you look at the Saints, they just beat the 49ers last week, who are a complete mess. Nick Mullins was the quarterback. Now it's a major upgrade with Matt Ryan this week. I mean, you're facing a much better quarterback, much better skill position players. I just think that Atlanta is worth a look. And again, the X factor is Jameis Winston. If he can throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns, that's great. But also he can throw for 400 yards and 3 interceptions. So that's the other thing. So I just think that Atlanta here is worth a strong look. They've been good on the road. They've had a couple things go against them. And the skill position players, it's hard to deny that the Saints haven't faced many of those this year.
Yeah, I parlayed these picks here with Atlanta +5 and the Packers +2. I really feel strongly about Atlanta this week, just covering the number. I think there's a lot of unknowns about the Saints. Do I still think the Saints are a really good team? Yeah, they're one of the handful of teams in the NFC that could get through the playoffs. I'm not buying into Jameis being better than Drew Brees at this point. I mean, I get it. Drew Brees can't push the field like Jameis Winston does, but Drew Brees also doesn't make stupid decisions. And we'll see if that's what happens this week with Winston. I'm kind of banking on it on this Falcons pick.
So let's recap our picks for Week 11 in the NFL. Holden's going to take Green Bay at Indianapolis, also backing the Chiefs against the Raiders Sunday night. I am going to take Philadelphia at Cleveland, also the football team of Washington to beat Cincinnati, and our consensus pick on Atlanta against New Orleans. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Vegas Insider. For Holden Kushner, I'm Kevin Rogers. Thanks for watching, and best of luck with your bets.